Let me start by saying that this is just an idea that I've been thinking about. I'd like to pitch it and see how it lands. So, nobody really likes LinkedIn. People complain about the cringe posts and the hustle culture. And now it's just this constant barrage of AI slop flooding our feeds. The interface has barely changed in a decade, and the blogging system still feels like it's exactly where the work experience student left it. But that's not the real problem with LinkedIn. The real problem with LinkedIn is that it's played a critical role in the AI hype cycle. And that's because LinkedIn is now a centralized identity management system. If you strip away the blue interface and the congratulate so-and-so on their work anniversary notifications, what you have is a single company, Microsoft, sitting in the middle of every professional relationship you have. They decide who you are, who sees you, and most importantly, what you see. The moment LinkedIn was acquired by Microsoft, it moved into an advertising model. And that means that identity became information that was used to drive a targetable impression. LinkedIn no longer wanted you to have a nice, trusted network of people that you genuinely know. What they wanted you to have is the biggest possible social network, because more connections means more surface area for ads. And then they introduced paid access so people could get to you. InMail, Sales Navigator, and premium tiers that basically let strangers cut their way into your inbox. So how did we end up where an identity layer has been corrupted by advertising? Well, let's roll back the clock to 2022 when Microsoft poured billions into OpenAI. They made a bet that large language models were going to transform every business on the planet. And LinkedIn is their distribution channel for that narrative. And why wouldn't they use it? Microsoft has every incentive to amplify AI hype on LinkedIn because AI hype sells Microsoft products. The LinkedIn platform is no longer a neutral town square for professional discourse. It's now a funded narrative engine which has been designed to push the messages that advertisers want you to hear. So LinkedIn's identity management model has been corrupted by advertising incentives and been weaponized by a parent company with $1 billion bet on AI. So when the AI bubble bursts, which I believe is now inevitable, we should be looking at Microsoft as the one that poured fuel onto this fire and caused this whole mess by pushing out a technology that simply wasn't ready. So in my mind, the only way around this is a decentralized identity management system. Because right now, LinkedIn is a ledger. They record who you are, who you know, where you worked, what you studied, and they can present that however they want. They can change when it gets shown, when it gets buried, and who gets access. And you've got no real say in it because it's in their database and you're simply a row. And to my mind, when that kind of information is held by a single player in the market, it's very, very dangerous. But a decentralized ledger would flip that, because your professional identity would live on a distributed system that no single company controls. Your credentials, qualifications, employment history, professional relationships could all be verified and signed by the people and institutions who actually know you. Your employer could sign that you worked there. Your university could sign that you graduated. Your colleague, your real actual colleague, not some random connection, could vouch for you on the blockchain. And nobody, not even Microsoft or any company, could alter that record or decide who gets to see it. And that's how a connection actually means something. It means someone has put their own verified identity behind the claim that they know you. It's not a click, it's an attestation. And attestations have weight because they're traceable, permanent, and they are mutual. Let me give you an example how this might work in practice. Say you're a CFO and you get approached by someone who claims to be an expert in supply chain. If you look at them on LinkedIn today, it might say all the right things. They have 3,000 connections and a few people that you vaguely recognize might also endorse them, but you've got no way of knowing whether any of it is real. In a decentralized model, you'd see that Deloitte has cryptographically signed a record confirming that they work there. The University of Melbourne might have signed their MBA, and people that you actually know might have also signed attestations to say, yes, I know this person. None of that can be faked because every signature is traceable. And if someone vouches for someone who's a fraud, they put their own reputation online permanently because it stays on the ledger. That to me is a fundamentally different world from clicking accept on a connection from a stranger with a nice headshot and a biography full of buzzwords. This is how professional relationships worked well before the internet. You trusted someone because someone you trusted introduced them to you. This was transitive trust, and it's worked that way for centuries. But what LinkedIn did was replace transitive trust with algorithmic reach. What a blockchain identity does is restore that trust at a scale and provides cryptographic guarantees instead of just social convention. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, and to be honest, the barriers are significant. The whole system would only work if institutions start issuing verifiable digital credentials. Now, this is well outside my area of deep technical expertise. I'm a finance guy, not a cryptographer. But I believe the direction is right because the current system, where a single advertising company controls the identity layer of the entire professional world, is so degraded that it just actively fuels hype and misinformation. So I'd just like to throw that idea out there. It's not something I'm actively working on, but as always, I'm keen to hear the thoughts and opinions of others. And as always, if you enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.